Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the panel. So today I'm talking about episode 12. To be honest, I thought we were going for a mid-season break by next week, but it seems like we still have episode 14. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on, anyways. But this episode really pissed me off. I don't know. I don't think I've been this annoyed since the season started. I was mad. I was angry. I have to take deep breaths. When we were
Pointless
talking
doesn't
about
scratch the surface. Pointless is like not even close to what this this episode was.
no, it was bad. It was like really, really bad. I was like, come on. So, anyways, let's get into the episode. So we're going to start off with the irrelevant stuff so we can get into the important thing. So we're going to start off with Stormi, her mom, and her husband. This scene, I don't know. We started off from the whole fight again. I feel like it's made up. I feel like it's fake. And then after off, I don't know why the fight happened because at the end of the day, we didn't see them resolve anything. We then saw her talking to Courtney about the whole issue in the car. He looked so disinterested, almost like there was a teleprompter telling him what to say, and it was like
Right.
entering the conversations, and it was just not really meshing. It was like, okay, you're
Right.
jumping
And
into
did
her
you see her
talking.
smiling in the confessional? Like when she was talking about it, she was smiling and smirking as if like it was a game or a joke and it wasn't really real. Like Stormy is fake, phony, and just a snake. So we already know that. And honestly, I feel like that whole scene with her and Spaghetti Betty, I feel like that whole thing was made up, but I feel like what was real was the aunt's reaction. I don't feel like the aunt was privy to what was going to happen, and that's what made the whole scene real. That's what gave it that real vibe, is because the didn't know what was going to happen. I don't think
The
she
aunt
knew
looked like
that
he was bamboozled.
Stormy and Betty was going to set her up like that. But yeah,
Mm.
but that scene with Courtney and Stormy in the car talking,
Like, I
it
don't know,
really
there's
just
this
seemed
vibe
like,
from Courtney. I don't get it. It's not made
mm-mm,
for reality TV show. It's just like
no.
whenever
He's
it's on
so
my
dry.
TV.
Oh my God, beyond dry. And he gives nothing. He is
He
like a
does.
placeholder. Like he's not even a placeholder. He's like, I don't even know. Like, what is his role? What are you there for? What do you do? Like Courtney,
Probably nothing. Like, honestly, the whole time I was like, first, you can't even keep a straight face. Like, you guys are definitely acting, and I agree with you that the aunt's reaction is the only thing that is real. Everything else is a joke, clearly.
hmm
And I just kept looking at them, and I was like, also, I don't see any chemistry with them. Like, you know how most times when you see a couple, you sort of see some sort of, I don't know, chemistry, something.
yeah.
I don't see anything. It's like there is no affection there. And I just
I
kept
was not
thinking,
seeing
like,
any the whole time.
yeah, like I was just like, I don't know what's going on here, but I don't like it. And, remember in the earlier seasons, we used to all think Maurice was literally doing nothing and bringing nothing to the show. And we can talk about Maurice later, but we used to think he brought nothing to the show, and I'm actually surprised to actually hear that this man's Courtney, whatever his name is, brings nothing. I can't believe he's worse than Maurice ever was in the previous seasons, ever. That
Right.
is a problem. It's like, if you guys are going to bring someone onto the show, you have to make sure that as a couple they're good for TV. Stormy isn't great for TV in my opinion, or at least not the show. And then Courtney isn't as well. So it's like neither one of them could bring us something, could give us something. Like, what sort of nonsense is that? So that's how I feel, man.
Like
Like,
even with Dusty and LeBerick, like LeBerick at least brought something, even though he didn't have like enough camera time and really wasn't like shown as much. Even in the little bit of time that LeBerick was there, LeBerick showed
Mm,
something. He showed more than what Courtney is showing.
yeah,
Like, bring
Courtney is
LeBeric back by
nasty.
himself. Like, you could take Stormi and Courtney completely off the show, bring LeBeric back by himself, let's show his chicken empire, and bring another single woman on and let her and LeBeric, you know what I'm saying? Let some
Nah, we need two
chemistry
couples.
happen. Like,
Two
let us see
couples.
love grow and build. Like, show us something different because what y'all are showing and portraying as love and marriage, this is not what love and marriage is. Like,
I've noticed that the whole scenes with Stormi, her husband Betty, it's fake. Like it's not even flowing. Like, okay, let's say two of you are having, I don't even have a problem with it being fake. You guys should know how to act. Like know how to pretend, know how, because like when he was talking about the whole, oh, your cousin, he said, okay, let's talk about your cousin. I was like, hmm, from west to west.
right,
And then after talking about that, I was like, oh, what about your mother and Lisa? They keep fighting. I'm like, hmm.
right. And Stormy trying to
only to
come with
say,
those saltine cracker tears. Like, girl, stop.
and only to say, oh, that they're probably never going to get along. It's always been that way. So why are you bringing it up? Why are you wasting our time?
Oh,
Like, I don't
I shouldn't have
understand.
said anything because that's my cousin and we love each other. Okay, well then why would you bring it up then?
Yeah, then don't bring
Why
it
was
up.
it even a thing?
Storyline.
And Stormy, this is my whole hold on. This is the thing that pissed me off too about Stormy because when y'all was talking about the warehouse and you're talking about, well, my warehouse manager should let me know, or I should know when things are going this way and that way, and basically was putting it on the warehouse manager that they should be the one doing the stuff. No, girl, this is your business, and you only have 4 employees. It is not that hard for
When we
you to
were
know when
low, we were
something's
packing
going awry.
800. Girl, two people packing 800, and then like that means you're a bad and you're a failed businesswoman. Because if you're telling
Right,
us when it was only you and Courtney, you guys were bagging 800 packages and like delivering. Now you have
right,
6 staff. Although I know that that's terrible, and you guys cannot even like package 8,000.
right. So how is it that you was packaging more with just 2 people and you can't do that when you have more employees? Make that make sense. That math isn't mathing, honey.
I
I
don't.
feel like it gives the impression that they employed staff and then did not monitor them. It's like if you employ staff, you can still check up on them. You should still check up on them constantly, regularly. Okay, they should have quotas for the day. How many have you done today? You can't put that on him. It's not his
Right.
job. It's your job to make sure they do their job properly.
Right.
So I don't understand what the issue
As
is.
the boss, you should be getting invoices. You should be at least getting some type of notifications every night, knowing what's going on, what you've sold, what you've packed, everything that's going on at the warehouse. You should have all this information. If you're out of ink, if you're out of paper, if you're out of labels, whatever the case may be, you should know this ahead of time so that you never run out. You should have it to where you have scheduled shipping for everything that you need so that you do not run out. Why is it that hard for you?
Yeah.
Because you're not
They, they
really a
they they just need to
businesswoman.
scrap them off the show. And yes, Elizabeth, it's like a thumbs down. The entire episode, like, oof, they should have not even put them. But I know that they needed to make that 41 minutes because I'm like, they really drags the whole drama through. But let's talk about the thing that actually really happened. I want to talk about it. We're going to skip this Martell thing to the ending. Let's talk about Maurice.
So we're just okay. See, normally you don't let me dive in, so we get to dive in today.
She's like, straight up.
It's because I'm not
Listen,
really
I'm
feeling too well. So I
excited.
want let's dive in.
All right then. Maurice, how dare you? Just how dare you even think that you have the audacity to come at this woman and bring up the fact that you feel like she has the responsibility to discipline your son that you chose to have come live with you without letting her know? You just basically spun that on her. This is your son. He's a boy. Remember, he needs a man in his life. He needs to be raised by a man. She's a woman. Where are you? This
Uh,
this boy doesn't barely
having
even see
sex.
you. He has said he barely gets to see you. Kimmy said he barely sees you. You barely spend time with him. What are you doing as a father? What was the point of you getting this child? I really feel like it was so that you did not have to pay child support.
That's what everybody keeps saying, and actually, he does make sense. Because if the child had stayed with Kawa, please can you just call this child Maurice Jr. because this whole monster name is not like when you name children something, they will act like their names. That's why we try to give children meaningful names, regardless of all this like nickname stuff. But
Oh, did you see that Carlos King interview when he spoke about the name Monster?
I
And
didn't
he
see it.
tried
What
to
did he
Oh
downplay
no,
it
say?
and
what
was
did he
like,
say?
oh, he was like, well, the name Monster is like, like when a football player is playing football and he does a good job, they say he's a monster, he's a beast. And when you're in
Yeah.
business and you're doing a good job, they say that you're a monster. So he's going to be great in his profession, and he's going to be doing good. So he's a monster.
And
Y'all
then
been
he's
calling this
barely
boy
making
Monster
his
from the time that
grade.
he was a child. Since he
He's
was
barely
little,
making
y'all
his
been calling him
grade.
Monster.
So
Like of all
apparently
the
that
nicknames
monster
you
name
could
is
give
not
him, that's a
working.
problem.
Yeah, and then was like his daddy's a monster, so he's Monster Junior. Sir, you've been calling this
No
child
wonder.
monster since he was a child. You don't know, honestly, you can raise a child up to be whatever, but you really don't know the trajectory of where that child is going to go. What if this child ends up doing something else? And because you called him monster, he truly becomes the true definition of a monster and starts terrorizing people and starts becoming a terror instead of, um, what you're trying to make it as, like he would be more a professional or a boss at whatever it is that he does professionally, as he tried to make it out to be.
I think
Names
Maurice.
have meaning, and what you call people, it has meaning.
Hmm. I think Maurice does not like to be wrong at all. And I feel like instead of just saying, I've never thought of it in that way, this is what we thought about, and maybe moving forward, you guys are right. Like Maurice would never say that. He would never take accountability. Instead, he will find a way to turn things around. If even look at his interaction with Kimmi. I don't know if you guys picked up that scene in particular. He was like, oh, cleaning, that is your department. Are you serious,
Mm-hmm.
sir? This woman is going through a lot and you're saying cleaning is her department? She's going through, well, I know she's rung the bell and whatnot, but still she's going through a lot and you're saying cleaning is her department. You should be cleaning or paying someone to clean the whole house. She shouldn't be lifting a finger. Like, are you serious? And I'm just like, I just could not believe the audacity of this man. And throughout this, I don't think I've ever seen an episode where I've been so angry the whole time. I was watching it and I was so pissed off the whole time. Like, I know they say all these episodes are meant to invoke some sort of emotion, but I've never felt angry watching a reality TV show before. This, I was like, is this guy serious?
And
Like,
when he
how
was
would you?
like, "Oh, I don't need to back her up," even when Marcel has to tell him that you have to back her up, it's like, "Oh, I don't need to back her up. She's supposed to be." Like, I don't know why people do not understand that as a step parent, there's a difference between you being a step parent and a parent. A parent can do whatever they want to do with their child. A step parent, you start feeling some way that, oh, am I overstepping? Am I overdoing? Should I like respect the boundaries? He's not even
You know,
thinking
like
because you're not, even if she puts a boundary, you are not even enforcing it.
Right, but
100%.
Carlos asked him about that and was like, him enforcing the rules, and does he think like, the traditional way, because of course he had to bring up the fact of them growing up in Michigan and having traditional parents and like having traditional roles where men take out the trash, shovel the snow and stuff like that. Did he feel like that is more his parenting style? And Maurice disagreed. He said he doesn't feel like that is his parenting style. He feels more so that um basically, if it's something that's going to help you further yourself in business, then he's for it. Like, it's to him, it's all about a business thing. If it's going to help
What
with
business does he
business.
even have himself?
I'm like, with all that business acumen he's trying to act like he has, what successful business does he have? Or has he ever run? It's a question. If anyone can answer, please let me know in the comment section. Because as far as we know, he does not run any successful businesses. So if you guys, if he really does, let me know in the comment section or in the live chat. Because it's nuts that this man is talking about parenting as a business. Are you mad? Like, I'm really pissed off today with this guy.
I think that he is really kind of looking at parenting as a like a business venture. I
Mm-mm.
think that's how he kind of sees it. Like parenting is another job, like you know, and parenting, parenting it is in a way it is a job, but it's not like that. It's not your 9 to 5 you clock in and out of. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot more to it, but he is really looking at it as more so as almost monsters an investment, and he's trying to grow his investment type
If
thing.
it's an
Like I don't.
investment, he should be taking care of Monster. Because now it's like, oh, Kimmi raised a good, honest, like good looking young man, and he's like, oh, so I'm just going to throw the child on him. Because they made an agreement that, oh, they're going to bring Monster. She warned him, you are going to take care of this boy. But because he wanted to evade paying child support, he was like, oh, bring Monster, bring Monster. Okay, then Monster came and it became a monster, and then you do not want to do anything about it.
Right, you want. I feel like right now, while everything's good, he wants to be glorified for having his son. I'm a man and I have my son, but the thing is what are you teaching this young man?
Yep,
Because
nothing.
Monster has, I mean, he basically let his mom know, like, hey, dad doesn't spend much time with me. Kimmi has said, you don't spend time with Monster. You don't do homework with him. You don't really spend as much time with him as you should.
I
So
mean, he
what is
said he
it that you're
drops him
really
to
doing?
school. He
Oh
drops him
yeah,
and
he
takes
drops
him
him off
to
at school.
that's quality time to him.
Dropping
Right.
off.
Dropping
Like,
off at school is
that's
quality
all
time.
he is. Dropping off, seriously, that is all. Like, don't get me wrong, dropping off could be a bonding experience, right? However, there's a lot more than dropping off, honey. Like, why can't you meet him up, pick him up from school, take him to lunch? That is separate from dropping off or picking up. Instead, it just feels like, oh, I'm gonna drop you off and pick you up, and that's all I gotta do for the day. No, sir, you're a parent. That is not
And it's
enough.
been what, 5 years
He
that he's had
doesn't think
Monster or
it's
so?
the he doesn't think it's the job of a man to do anything. That was why he kept relaying the problems to Kimmi. Kept saying, "Oh, Kimmi, it's probably because you and Kaiwa. Kimmi, because it's probably because the past of you and Kaiwa. What? This
I
is
honestly
about how
don't think
many years since you cheated with Kimmi on Kaiwa, and it's not like Kaiwa was even innocent either.
the thing is, I don't
Right?
actually believe that Maurice does not know what Key or understand what Kimmi is saying. I think he's intentionally gaslighting her. I don't believe because Kimmi is one of the most clear communicators ever. She clearly articulates exactly how she feels. And so, even us watching the show, we grasped it since season one or since episode one, sorry, right? I don't understand why it's taking him so long to grasp it, which makes me feel like he understands exactly what she's talking about, but he refuses to see it from her perspective, and that's all it is. I don't know if you guys
Yeah, I
actually took
agree.
when Kiowa walked in. Kiowa and Monster sort of looked at each other and had like a
And
little
they laugh.
yes, because they were like, "This is about to be some mess." In my opinion. That's what it was given. It was like, oh, hey, mom, it's about to be some mess. Like, seriously. And the whole point, like, did you guys think it was weird for oh God, I hate calling him Monster, Maurice Jr. to be sitting there as well whilst they were having this conversation? I'm like, why are you having this conversation in front of this kid? Why can't you have the conversation separately, be on the same page, then bring him into the conversation?
Did you even see his attitude to the whole conversation?
I saw
almost
his
like he did
attitude.
not want to be there. He hated talking to Maurice. And when Maurice was antagonizing him, that, oh, you don't seem receptive. You seem, I'm like, dude, how would someone be receptive when three adults are basically shouting at you? Because to a teenager, it would seem like they're shouting at them. To an
Of course.
adult, would probably be a conversation, but as a teenager, you feel like, oh my God, why is everybody shouting at me? Why is everybody coming at me? I'm just trying to express myself. So it's
Yeah.
actually crazy to
I
me.
feel like that conversation should have been had. Maurice should have enough guts and balls to have that conversation with his son himself. Kiowa shouldn't have had to been pulled into it. Kimmi addressed that situation. One, little Maurice is in the house with Kimmi and Maurice. That's who should have been having that conversation. I don't know why Kiowa had to be pulled into it because he's not at home with Kiowa. He wasn't doing this stuff with Kiowa, and probably because, and I feel like he wouldn't be doing this stuff with Kiowa because I don't think Zay would allow it. And that might have been a part of the
Kaiwa
reason
spoils
why
him. Like, if you look at it,
Kiowa, yeah,
both
Kiowa
parents
spoils him,
are
and
at
that's what it said is
fault.
Kiowa babied him, but I don't feel like he would be acting out like they're kind of getting away with so much. And if we really want to be technical, Maurice is babying him too because he's allowing him to get away with the shit that's going on. There's no real like discipline except for from Kimmi. Kimmi can only do oh so much, and I feel like Maurice feels like since Kimmi raised Jalen so well by herself, she can do it again for Monster. I hate calling it boy Monster with little Maurice. And that's not fair, especially with her going through radiation and having to deal with that. Then plus you want her to have sex with you multiple days, multiple times a day. Plus she has to cook, clean. No, mm-mm.
See, for me, I blame both parents because Kimmy is not even involved here. I don't even count Kimmy as the fault. Kimmy is just a factor that is making his action, like making Monster's reaction present early. Because what Monster is showing us is who he would have become in the future once he leaves his parents. He would have become a man that cannot take care of himself. These are the kind of men that would look for girlfriends that will cook for them, girlfriend that will clean their
So
house,
now that
girlfriend that will
Maurice,
wash their clothes. But yes,
pretty
so
much.
Kaiwa was a terrible mother, and people need to say it. I'm sorry. Someone needs to say it. Kaiwa was a terrible mother. Because how would you be helping a teenager wash their clothes? How would you be sweeping a teenager's room?
I
Like
was
at
11
some
and half country.
at some point, you're supposed to be thinking that.
And
Because
that
I
is
think
definitely good. That's a good observation, and I definitely would question it too. And then it makes me question too the daughters that they have, how how they're being raised, or how did they turn out? Because I believe they are older. Like,
Oh, I didn't even know they had daughters.
oh yeah, we busted that wide open last night.
Oh, wow. I definitely.
Evidently, it's been circulating around, but yeah, last night I went ahead and pulled it up. So they have so there's two daughters, and they actually call them Maurice's bonus daughters. So one of them's name is Tatiana, and the other one's name is Deshayla.
Okay, and those are from
wow.
Kiowa.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I wonder how that whole dynamic is as well.
Kaiwa comes off to me as a boy mom, and these are the worst kinds of mothers.
So another Miss Marlene.
Yeah.
Not
Because she
Margarita Marlene.
see, look at because I was listening to the words she was saying, and I'm like, there is no reprimand. I understand that you try to like everybody's like, oh, we need to do all this stuff landing with children, blah blah blah. This is see, Kimmy was not even hard-handed with this child. And he's already acting like it's the end of the world, saying, oh, I talk to myself, I'm trying to get my grades. The boot camp is about waking early. Because if it's me, dude,
But Marceau kind of called him out too and was kind of like, side eyeing him when they were at the
Martell
wine and paint. Marsau was
Yeah.
kind of like side eyeing too, like what? Like, dude, wait, okay, so are you actually going to stay at the bonus parent meeting and not leave?
Hi, Linda. He
How
always
he,
leaves. He always finds an excuse not to speak.
hey,
He
Linda.
always finds an excuse to
Linda.
pit the two of them against each other. So it's like
Right.
a
It's like he
recurring
can
thing.
never have a conversation heads up. Just like when Kimmi was telling him about how she felt, he had to call Kiowa and say, "Oh, Kiowa, Kimmi said this," and Kimmi, like, what? Kimmi said that about you. Kimmi didn't say nothing about Kiowa. She said how the things that you do make her feel. Why would you bring Kiowa into it?
I
I
think
felt that
he
that was
loves
just
exactly.
disrespectful, and he does that every time.
He loves doing it. He loves making it seem like Kiowa and Kimmi are at it because of him. It boosts his ego. It makes him feel like, oh, they're fighting over me. I feel like that's what it is because I don't understand. It is very clear Kiowa and Kimmi don't have any issues. They're on the same page when it comes to Maurice Jr. He is the one that needs to get with the program. But all of a sudden, oh, I think you guys should sit down and sort out your issues. What issues, sir? Like, are you delusional? Like, mm-mm.
He's
I was so
trying to
yeah.
make it seem like Kimmi is the problem because he knows that Kimmi knows that she was a side chick. So she's always going to bend over, try to appease, try to over accommodate. Because listen to the time that she raised her voice and was like, oh, that voice, bitch, I would have slapped you. You're not going to tell me that voice in my own home because that child, I will pack his bags personally. You don't even need to do anything. I will pack
Mm,
his bags personally and I will send him to his home. If you want to divorce me, good. Kimmi is desperate to be married. And that's the
yep.
only reason why she's taking
Yeah,
all this.
that is
It's
definitely
the only person that can let you put up with such mess.
right.
It has to be.
As strong as Kimmy is, it's giving pick me.
To be fair, I've always known she's a pick me since day one. Especially with the way she was relating with Martell. Oh, Martell, such a gentleman, so sweet. Shut up.
Yeah, but the way she touches on Martell, there's something else up with that because she just want to touch on him and feel on him and oh,
Mm-hmm.
Martell, you worked out today, did you? Like, first
Yeah.
off, you being married, you don't need to be rubbing and caressing on no other man like that. That is off limits and just that is
I
no.
mean, I told you that, what's his name? Maurice just sticks it in, satisfies himself and leaves. I mean, he said it. He doesn't even know when she's coming on to him and he just feels like, so.
And you have to ask her if she finished. That's a problem, sir. That is a problem, sir. That's because you're asking after the fact. Oh, so you didn't finish. You should have known,
So
sir.
she's an afterthought.
Of course. Maurice does not care about anyone but himself. He really does. Did you guys pick up when Maso was sort of kind of roasting him when he was like, well, he shouldn't have left to go to a meeting, right? And then he was like, yeah, as a lawyer, I have clients. Sometimes you do have to go.
Iowa
Did you
and
see Mercer's face? Mercer's face when he said that. Please, if you guys did not see it, go back and watch it. His face was like, cut the ball. You ain't got
Like,
no.
what law are you doing?
Exactly. That was the facial expression. Like, literally, he was like, stop lying. That was the
look
facial
at that
expression.
face that he's making, having trouble making.
Monster is angry. He's angry. There's like a lot of deeply rooted stuff there that needs to be explored. He needs to, and even okay, I don't want to jump the gun because
Yeah,
I was about to start saying something, but I was like, I'll wait until you show it on the.
disgusted
But yeah, I'm
just
just.
by all of it. He
Wait,
doesn't
you
want to
can see
be
her
there.
face.
He looks like a monster in the face.
Mm, it's the eyes. Ooh,
He looks
yeah,
pissed.
he looks really upset and really angry. Like he did not need to be in the conversation at all. It should have been the conversation had with the parents afterwards, relaying the message back to him. And so that's what it should have been. In a way, I almost think Kaiwa loves that monster, or Maurice Jr. is giving Kimmi hassle. He's giving Kimmi hell. Because in a way, it's almost like he's doing her dirty work. Because I didn't understand what that smirk was about at the start. So I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just giving, because if anything, if Monster is really having trouble and he's not doing well at school, then why can't you take him with you? Why isn't that your first reaction? When he was with me, he was doing well in school. You're coming back, pack your bags. So if you're not thinking that as a parent, then I have to second guess and question your judgment and your ability to parent well.
Because she was like, oh, should I come? Should I come more time? Should I come
Like, what kind
visit?
of question is
Should I
that?
come?
Should
That's
you
not the
come
solution. The solution, as Kimmi said, is therapy.
100% agree with her. And did you notice how Maurice was a bit hesitant talking about, oh, we're all gonna go together? Like,
Yeah, and when she
there
was
is
like, no, it has to be only two of you, was like, well, without you. I was like, why did you need to say that? She already said without her in the first place. Why did you need to say it again? I'm like,
he just likes to antagonize people. Did you see the way he was antagonizing Maurice Jr.? The way he antagonizes Kimmi? He just has that antagonistic personality where he has to be right, and he has to get the last word in. So even if he has to repeat what you said in a sarcastic manner, that's exactly what he'll do.
maybe that's the kind of law he
What
does.
things you get there? Like, I don't know. I just, is this all learned behavior? What is this?
It
Mm,
is. Because if you look
yeah.
at their history, they had no good male role model. So they basically just pick whatever they had to pick.
Yep. And if you see, what was the name of his other brother who was just unhinged? They all
Matt.
seem kind. They all seem like there's some screws loose in their heads, in my opinion. Because, like, at the end of the day, I feel like the whole Marsau, Maurice, they need therapy, and Mark especially, they all need therapy, because I feel like they need therapy to unlock a lot of the power gained.
I think they might feel like the therapy is taboo because remember when Marcel was they was trying to get Marcel to go to therapy. He was like, "Nah, I'm not doing that," and like he was mad at Tisha for even like suggesting therapy, having him go, and it was just like a no. I
No,
feel like
most people think going to therapy. I think I can hear myself.
Yeah.
I guess the point is that most people think going to therapy, there's like a stigma because the first thing people ask, oh, are you crazy? Do you have an issue and all that? But I think they just do not want to accept that they are imperfect. They think,
Mm,
oh, just because we came from the grasses, so imagine them saying, oh, we have some issues that we need to go through therapy for. But be like, oh, is it your past? I think they do not just want to be reminded of their past. That's just how it comes up for me.
mm. They want to be so far removed from their past.
Yeah. But I'm just saying this boy needs therapy, he needs love, and he needs help. But what did you guys think about Martell?
Mm. I actually okay.
Did you see the
Max.
way he talked about the whole therapy stuff too? The way he tried to like the
Oh
connotation
yes.
of, oh,
I
manipulation, manipulation, manipulation.
down. He was like, Melody got the kids
therapy.
therapy, and so the judge felt like the father should get therapy as well. No, that's not why the judge said you needed therapy. And I could not believe that he could sit down with a straight face and relay the information in that way. And what bugs me the most is that there are a lot of viewers who are not in these YouTube streets. So they will watch that on TV and really think that that is the reality. And that is what bothers me. Hi, Geneva. That is what bothers me. Because I'm just like, a lot of people that are not on YouTube will really believe what this man is saying. When this man had an interview with Queen Sheba Darling, why didn't he have that energy? No.
And this is the problem I have, because we definitely know that Bravo will go and look for the receipts and they'll
Yeah.
put it there.
But guess what? Carlos does not want to make his bestie look bad. He doesn't. So he will clean up that man's image if he does nothing else. At the moment, it sounds like Carlos is Olivia Pope for Mattel, because I don't understand why he's working overtime. Like, instead, why can't you give us the flashbacks? Why can't you give us the reality? And that's why this show is sinking. Because Carlos does not want to do his dang job. He's too close to the cast. That's the problem. He's too close to Mattel. He's too close to this. Why not give us the reality?
Well, Carlos let it be known that he loves, and I mean, he emphasized the fact that he loves straight men and he loves straight men with
As you
podcasts.
just said it, and I remembered Andy and that video that was leaked. I just can't get it out of my brain.
What video?
You've not seen it?
Oh no, send it to me in the group chat.
Nah, just check the neighborhood talk, where a black guy was on his lap and it was rubbing the guy's nipples and everything. It's like it was a private sex party, something like that. So someone, I don't know why someone went there videoing the whole thing. I'm like, that's invasion of privacy anyway.
Facts. Oh, no, Andy being caught red-handed. Mm-mm. Caught in the act. Mm-mm.
So I'm like, why can't Carlos do something like that if he's so honey? The way he described Love and Marriage, Detroit guys, and like, if you're
Mm-mm.
desperate for men, go get one. I mean, you're rich. Even if you're not rich, you're comfortable, way above the average pay grade. So I think you can get someone
I
that
think he
loves you.
definitely has someone. I think he just loves the idea of a straight man because he feels like, oh, I can't get him,
I've
but he's like my.
noticed like a
That's
lot
thing.
of gay
Because I don't
men.
understand. It doesn't make any sense to me the way he writes for Mattel. Like, the thing is, no one is saying you can't have your faves, right? But show us the truth. Let us decide. If your fave was so great, why not show us what he does? Right? Why do you have to clean up his act? Why does he get your tears? But then when he was antagonizing this woman, Melody, you didn't have no tears for her. And I'm just like, at what point, when does it stop? When does it stop? And I can't lie, this scene with Mattel and his brother, I was just like, Mattel wants to teach someone how
It
to
was
make money.
another fake scene. Like that's what
Miss me.
I'm saying. The only thing that happened in this episode that was real was the Kimmi and Monster and Kaiwa and Maurice. The rest other scenes were fake.
And could you notice how they kept jumping through that scene? It's like, we know that's the you have the episode. You might as well show us in one go. I don't understand why you keep jumping through it. Like, ooh. So now it's just Kimmi and Maurice. Like, we know. Just show us the whole thing. Why do you keep jumping through, hoops and gaps like it's on a different day? Like, seriously. Ugh, but yeah.
It was
Also,
really
did
frustrating.
you guys did you guys notice that Melody Cherie was not on this episode?
I said
That's
the
actually
same thing. I was
true.
like, Melody was not in any of the scenes in this episode. And do y'all see how it turned out? What the
Yep.
hell?
It was like watching paint dry. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was really bad. This is like their worst episode to date, in my opinion. They need to do something. Like, I'm hoping that next week they come up with something better, because if they don't, I don't know what's going to happen to the rest of the season.
So I think next week they are going to be talking about the court case. So I guess if I'm going to tune
Whose
in,
court case? Oh yeah, yeah.
the custody.
The Holt's case, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think people will definitely tune in for that. But
Because it was
yeah, this was
actually this episode was empty,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
and
Mm-mm.
they keep telling us the Scots can carry their show.
How? I would like to see them try. Even the whole sit down with Tisha and all of them, right? It was, did you notice when Kimmi was about to start going off and Tisha interrupted? And Tisha basically cut her off. I'm like, Tisha, can you let the girl speak? Like, you're always interrupting every single time. Like, can you let her speak? Like, let her say what her truth is. I sort of, they have a very interesting dynamic. Maurice tends to defend Tisha a lot. And then Marsau sort of kinda defends Kimmi. They have a very weird dynamic. Did you guys have you guys
It's
noticed
weird.
it?
Yeah, I've seen that. And I was, like I said, it seemed like Marcel came to the defense of Kimmy when they were talking about the whole situation about, like, hey, are you going to stay at the, bonus parent meeting this time?
Yeah. And the
Because he
thing is,
knows how Maurice does.
yep, I feel like Maurice
The time
definitely
he even questioned Maurice about, like, the time that he spends with Monster and stuff that he does. He's like, what, really? That's what you do?
yeah. And the thing is, I honestly really believe that Maurice did not have a meeting. I think Maurice just did not want to be in that meeting. He was like, I'm gonna let these women handle it between themselves. I'm not gonna be there. I feel like, because I don't believe you had a meeting. What meeting can't be rescheduled? Even if it was a work thing, you couldn't say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, apologies. I have a family emergency. I'll have to reschedule
Yeah.
or book the family meeting for a different time." You're telling me you couldn't do that?
Did you hear him say, oh, that's the life of a lawyer? Stop it. Stop it.
I worked as a lawyer for some years, and that's not really what it is. That's not how it works. So I don't understand what he's talking about. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I've known lawyers who have rescheduled.
I've rescheduled. Yeah, nah, nah. I was just like,
Yeah.
nah. What law firm, honey? Like, mm-mm,
It's
mm-mm.
an excuse for him not to have to
Honestly,
parent.
this is the truth. Like the show is just like going downhill. I'm actually sort of happy that Ready to Love is starting back for some like
Oh, I'm excited. I'm ready.
something a little bit interesting is coming back. 'Cause they
Yeah, I think
still
no matter how bad Ready to Love gets, like, it's still interesting enough.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
because
gonna
we
do
have
a binge
different
watch on Ready
characters.
to Love, and I'm about to start doing other shows too, like Bridgerton. I'm about to start doing commentary on Bridgerton because I actually like that show. So I'm
yeah,
branching out on just
After
these
the first
reality
season,
shows.
after they removed my husband, I don't know what again.
oh yeah, nah, he was hot.
Which
I'm
one?
sorry. After they removed him, I was never going to watch again. I don't care how they wanted to sell it. I was like, I only watched for him. So I don't watch romance, but I love seeing handsome men. So I was like, okay. But then they
Yeah,
said it was not going to be in the second season. I was like, wow, I'm not doing
yeah,
this with you guys.
that was a letdown. Did you guys watch Detroit?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did
Mm.
commentary
Toxic,
on
toxic,
Love and Marriage
toxic
Detroit an
everywhere.
hour ago.
Oh,
They
is
are
it?
so toxic.
Yeah, no. Did
So
you
toxic.
did you guys see that there were so many parallels with Love and Marriage Huntsville?
The
It
same
Yes,
thing,
almost
the
seemed
we've
same
said that,
beginning.
Patty. Like, it seems like Carlos
he
Queen
repeated their
took
content.
from, yeah, all he
Mm-hmm.
did was took from Love and Marriage Huntsville and just sprinkled it on Love and Marriage Detroit. What storylines didn't work for Love and Marriage Huntsville, he just like, oh, let me try it over here, see if it works here.
Even including the group activity for wedding anniversary. Seriously, who really does that? Like, most people would just want to, like, have their little, spend time with their partner, as opposed to, like, having a whole picnic with your friends.
That thing was fake.
It was, yeah, it was given fake. Also, do you believe it was just an emotional affair?
Much emotional. Emotional is even the worst kind of cheating ever.
I don't even believe it was just.
Sorry. If
I
you were
think it.
lusting after somebody, it's better than being emotionally attached.
Yeah, I think it was both, in my opinion, and allegedly, I think it was both. I
Yeah.
think that man is out here, in my opinion, cheating in the streets. Mm-mm. Cheating.
Yeah.
The way that he gaslit her, just because she asked him a question about when he was coming home, she just called to speak to her husband, and whew, he flamed her ass up. It said a lot. It spoke volumes.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, I guess that's all. Because the episode was sort of like,
Yeah, there was
not
really
sort of,
nothing.
the episode was dry.
Yeah, that
Mm.
episode
So, does
was dry
anybody
as
have any
hell.
last words?
No, I'm almost done with Love and Marriage Huntsville. That's why I'm branching out to other content. I'm going to start doing like my own real life, my journey with, the health issues that I'm going through, the wonderful things that I'm going through with my marriage. And even because I'm gonna tell you, it might not all be glitz and glamours here too, but I'm gonna give you the real things that, like I'd rather tell you my real life than deal with their bullshit because I'm over it. I'm
And I
over
bet
it. But yeah, I'm branching out. So
I don't even
your
know
real life
how
is probably,
long I'm going to keep
to
doing
be
like
honest.
reality TV, but we'll see.
Yeah, I know what you mean because like it just sometimes it just gets really exhausting, especially when you can see that they're just playing in our faces. Like you can't be serious.
You didn't miss anything if you didn't watch. Nothing really happened anyway.
Yeah, Holly, nothing.
So,
well, I'll tell you that proves that without Melody Cherie, honey, there is no Love and Marriage Huntsville.
Yep.
so that
I
should be
hope the
all for
rating
tonight.
this episode.
Yep.
Next episode, you guys will see
Well,
her.
good
So see
night,
you guys.
ladies. And I guess I will see you guys tomorrow for Real Housewives of Atlanta. Oh Lord, let's hope Marlo does not cut up too bad.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right, lady. A good evening.
Bye.